Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm checking out a 2020 Chevrolet Camaro in the 3LT trim level. This Camaro is sitting on 245/50 Goodyear tires, wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a silver finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Summit White, and it's basically just a normal white. Don't see any metal flake or pearl or anything like that. So here in the front, all the black that you see is all a flat black. There's no glossiness here. There's your emblem, and look at the grille. Nice wide open airflow there. And speaking of airflow, you do have some wheel well ventilation right in here. Kind of helps out with the airflow around the vehicle. Now you do have black bezels in with the headlights, which are powered by LEDs. So you have LED daytime running lights and high and low beams and a projector housing. Looking at the profile, you can see everything is body colored, gloss white in this case. And it does have a little bit of a pillar right in here, this gloss black that kind of solidifies the front and rear glass right here. There's an emblem, Camaro emblem here. And there's a little silver, to be really picky, on the handle. There's a little silver button there, but other than that, I guess that matches the wheels. Other than that, it's all body colored. This is what the key looks like, and Chevrolet has used this proximity key fob for a while now, and it is a very solid feeling and smooth, and I wouldn't say very lightweight, but it is not too heavy key fob. And it has this concave style to it, so your thumb goes right in there and it's very comfortable. The surfaces are really nice. It's one of the nicer key fobs, in my opinion, on the market. Just as a normal one, it's not too fancy. It's not too. The only thing it is, it's a little large. But anyways, it has a lock and unlock button, remote start, the ability to open up the trunk, at least just pop it, and a panic button here. So it just chirps. So when you push that button, it just kind of locates the vehicle in this particular case. Now, it does have a physical key on the inside. You can take it out in case you need it, but generally you can just keep this key in your pocket and use the vehicle 100%. As long as you have it with you, you can start the vehicle, open the door, lock the door, all that stuff. So it does have to be, in order to open the door, you do have to have it within a close proximity of the outside of the door. And you push this button to lock or unlock it. So push it at one time. In this case, it was unlocked, so now it's locked. To unlock it, you just push the button again. As long as the key's right here on the outside of the door, you can do that. If you're inside with the key, people can't walk up and unlock the door. There's a physical key location behind this cover, so you will have to take this cover off in order to access it. It's only on the driver's side. The way these side mirrors are designed, they're basically just one piece plastic here on the side, so they're not breakaway mirrors. So a lot of modern mirrors, they'll fold in or something like that. In this case, they are solid, so I'm not sure if they actually have the ability to pop off and pop back on or what, but that may be an issue with maybe a car wash or something like that, having them just kind of fixed there on the door. Here's the inside of the passenger side door. Now the soft touch surfaces are here. This section right up in here is all soft touch. Here, where you can see the brown, and then there's a little section here for your leg to rest on. So those are the soft touch. The rest of it is a hard touch. So you soft, hard touch. Even right in here in this section is a hard touch. Now you do have some contrast stitching in here. And there. Now this one has a premium Bose sound system, which sounds fantastic. But look at the contours and the way this door is styling. It's very different. Have this kind of like concave section right in here, and a bulge there in the center. And speaking of that, this metal portion right here, there's an ambient light in there in which you can change the colors. You got to check out my night video. I show this vehicle in detail at night, showing the interior and exterior lighting, which is pretty cool. Now speaking of that, this Camaro threshold sill plate illuminates and looks nice at nighttime. Power seat here on the passenger side. You can see there's the controls for that. They are heated and ventilated leather seats. You can see the perforations there in the center portion, then you have the stitching on the outside. And the bolstering is nice and mild. They're not too tight on your body, but it does bolster you and keep you in place without being too intrusive on your sides. And here's your leg room, and it's pretty substantial. It's not super wide, but it does have a lot of length there, here in the front anyway. More of that concave shapes here. The dash is a non-reflective hard touch surface, and then you have the concave. This is like a leather wrapped over a hard touch, I guess you can say. Then you have a soft touch there for your knee, just like the door. Glove compartment is locking, and it has basically just smooth plastic on the inside. Now the headroom is fine for me. I'm 6 feet tall, and some of the older models, my head will touch the ceiling, but in this particular case, it's fine. There's plenty of headroom as long as I have the seat in the proper position for me. When the front seats are back into a normal adult position, the back seats are not really usable too much for an adult. So you will have to compromise quite a bit in the front as far as your legroom in order to fit an adult here in the back. But it does have the latch system for car seats, and it does have a fairly decent amount of room for kids and stuff like that. But it's not a, you know, four passenger vehicle 100%. Now this back seat does fold down to add to your cargo space in the trunk, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. The blind spot indicator is here on the side mirrors. On the outside, it will illuminate when there's a vehicle in your blind spot. And your fuel door is here on the passenger side, and it's a capless fuel delivery, so you don't have to worry about touching a cap, getting your hands dirty, or the cap not being tight enough to and making your check engine light turn on. There's a rubber seal around here, and there's a 2-stage door system in here. You will need to use you can see a little indicator there to make sure that you put it all the way in. But if you use a gas can, you will need to use a funnel that can go past the second door in here. So looking at the back of the vehicle, you can see there's another concave feature here on the roof. And just behind that, now you see basically it's concave, it dips down, but basically what they're doing is adding extra headroom for the driver and passenger here. So maybe you can see that, because they desperately needed it in the past, and they got it now. And you have a shark fin antenna right here, but you notice it has a little dot in the middle. That is a camera. The camera is for your rear view mirror, so you can have the rear view camera or mirror. I'll show you that when we get on the inside, which is pretty cool. Third brake light is here on the trunk lid, and you have all LED tail lights back here. They're nice and sharp, crisp. You got to check out my night video so you can see what it looks like. Now the backup camera is down here, and it's very much slightly offset. So it's just a little bit off center. Would have been nicer if it was right in the very center. So you can see the camera up here is in the center, and you follow that down. This is just a little bit off to the side, so it's a little annoying, but it's fine, you know, backing up and all that stuff. It's not like you're backing up to a trailer or anything. It does have parking sensors back here and a quad exhaust. So opening up the trunk, you can use the key, or there's a button under here you can push. Now it does the exact same thing either way. It just pops it up. So the button to release it is under here, just a little bit to the right of center. So here's center. Just put your finger a little bit to the right, and it's a rubber button. You push it and lifts up. It just pops up like this. Then you'll have to lift it up like so. Now it goes up a little bit over the glass, just to try to give you as much headroom and open area as possible. But there's not a lot of space. There's a lot of space actually inside, but the opening is not very big. So trying to get things in and out is a little bit of a pain now, but it is quite open on the inside. Now it does have some exposed speakers, exposed metal, so if you're putting luggage back here, you want to make sure you don't damage your luggage by hitting that and pushing against it. You can fold down the seat. There's just one big piece folds down to add to your cargo space in case you need put a long object back here. Now it has, under this cover is and it's kind of a like a press board type wood cover. But under that there's no spare tire in this particular vehicle. It does have a tire inflator kit. You also have your amplifier back here as well. To start it up, as long as you have the key inside the vehicle, you just put your foot on the brake, hold it, and push this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. You see the floor mat on this side hooks in place, snaps in place actually, big buttons there, keeping it from sliding around on you. The accelerator pivots here at the bottom. You have a footrest here on the far left, which is plenty big enough for me. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there is a latch right here. It's a little bit to the left of center. Right in here, you just reach in, move it to the right, and lift the hood up. And it goes up by itself. Here's the latch here, so you just reach in, move it to the right. So you can see it has an insulated portion underneath the hood. Also the Camaro emblem there. And of course the engine is covered up with a big plastic cover for some reason. Now there's a seal right here on the very back. Right in here is a seal, and there's braces. There's a brace here to the main part of the strut tower, to the main part of the vehicle, the unibody structure. Insulated firewall, partially, not 100%. There's some heat shielding back there as well. I don't know if you can see that. And since this is the V6, you can see there's a little bit of extra room there in the front. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the passenger side. except for it has a few more buttons. So just below the handle here, where the door lock buttons are, is your presets for your power seat. So you have 2 presets, you can set them with that button. Then there's an exit mode, so if you have the seat really forward, push that and everything kind of gets out of your way, pulls the seat back, and that way you can exit a little bit easier. Both power windows are automatic, one touch up and down. Side mirrors are adjusted here. Just pick a side and adjust it with that little pad. Then you have a button here to release the trunk. Now you notice there's no water bottle storage here on the door. It's just a little handle here in which you can use that to put a cell phone or whatever, and then a small place there. So it's not a lot of places, not a lot of storage in the door. And the power seat is just like the passenger side, so no difference. There's no upgrades here for the driver. Usually there's some kind of extra thing like a lumbar adjustment or something like that, but nope. This seat's basically the same. To the left of the steering column, you have your HUD controls, so you can raise and lower, change the brightness of the HUD, or change what it displays by using that center button. And it goes up and down, so that way, that's how you make selections. There's your dimmer switch for your interior lighting. It also has a tilt and a telescoping steering column. Not a huge amount of articulation, but it does have that capability, and you lock it in place with this lever. Before I put the shade on the windshield, I just want to show you the HUD, see what it looks like here. So you can adjust the brightness, and you can adjust the information. You can also raise and lower it, like so. The brightness, it gets a little bright for me. I had to dim it down a little bit. And when you dim it all the way down, it gets to a point where it just disappears. So if you don't want it there, you can just make it disappear that way. During the day, you want it bright. At nighttime, you want it dimmer. You can change the information you can have here. So this will showing what's on the radio. This is showing the digital compass. The next one is an RPM gauge, tachometer, and you can see what gear you're in, and your speedometer. A lot of information there. Or you can just have your speedometer. So that's kind of cycling through. So that's kind of give you an idea of what it looks like here on the windshield here. Sitting in the driver's seat, checking it out, and the seats are quite comfortable. They are low to the floor, so you don't get that chair-like feel. But I have the seat all the way back and all the way down. I'm 6 feet tall, and it's probably a little bit too far back for me as far as my legroom. I can drive this way, but if I put the seat a little bit forward, I can reach the pedals a little bit better. So there is pretty good amount of legroom here in the front. If you're 6 feet tall, maybe 6'1", should be fine. If you're taller than that, you want to go ahead and check it out for yourself. And the knee room is pretty good too. Really impressed. So so this is one of my tests here. The accelerator pedals here, and I line up my knee with my hip. You can see there's plenty of room here. Okay, so there's some vehicles that interfere with your leg room, so this one is just fine. I mean, you can really get comfortable. Okay, so here is the steering wheel. It's a heated steering wheel, which is really nice in the wintertime. I'm not used to that, so on a cold morning like it was today or yesterday, last night, just having that warm steering wheel made a huge difference. I was really surprised at how much a difference a heated steering wheel makes. So you can see it has a flat bottom, smooth leather here on the bottom, and then perforation here on the sides. And you have the grips, and then smooth again at the top. Then it has this stitching here on the inside, kind of like a brown, like the seats. Paddle shifters here in the back. It does have the 10-speed transmission, which you can cycle through the gears. With that, you can always go back into drive by pressing and holding the plus, and it'll go back into drive. So in case you hit it like I did. So basically, the volume buttons are down here, and you pull them like this, and the paddle shifter's up here and you pull it in. So it's like right there, so it's in there, not that far away. So so it's really easy to get them mixed up when you're not thinking about it. But anyways, so yeah, the volume knob's down here, paddle shifters are here. On the bottom down here is changing through your favorites on your radio, or whatever audio track you're playing goes to the next one, like so. Cruise control is over here. It's just standard cruise control. It does have the forward collision warning system, in which you can change the sensitivity of that up here, or you can turn it off. And then right here is your heated steering wheel button. It's just on or off and has the indicator light. Here on the right side is your Bluetooth controls, voice recognition, hang up, stuff like that. And then these buttons here correspond with the screen between the gauges. We'll get to that in just a minute. Over here on the right side is your windshield wiper controls. On the left side is your turn signal, but it also has your headlight controls as well. So you have automatic. You can pull it down here and you can toggle your daytime running lights on or off, parking lights, and headlights. Now, you can check out my night video for what all that looks like if you'd like. So here's the gauges. So it has physical gauges here on the outside here and here, and then this center portion is a screen, which is more customizable. But the flat black and white lettering is easy to focus on and easy to, you know, read and everything. Now it does have the red needles popping out, giving you that sporty look. And I have the red ambient lighting in here, and kind of matching that. When I put it to other colors, it doesn't match up to the needles there, so I keep it on red. But anyways, you can change the colors. Check out the night video if you want to check that out. Okay, so if we want to customize that screen, if we want to get other information, so these buttons right here, these arrow and the OK, or select, is what we're going to use. So we can see that center screen. If we right now just start scrolling down, so you can see we have more information, trips and different things, timer and all that. You even have a blank screen, so if you don't want anything there, you can have a blank screen. Scroll to the left, you'll see this is part of a menu system, and we're in the information screen. So the information screen, you have some gauges there at the top, and you have a digital speedometer there, and you can make selections by going up and down. Scrolling to the left, so you notice this arrow's bright, this one's blacked out. So that'll let you know which way you can go when there is appropriate information there. So the next one down is performance. When we hit that, now when we scroll down, we get different information. We have a G-force sensor, things like this. Oil temperature, oil pressure, battery voltage, things like this. All right, going back to the left, we go to the next one. This is just showing what the radio is doing. Right now there's nothing going on. Now we can also scroll to the right in the menu, and we can make selections here. Now that we're in this particular one. Scrolling to the left, navigation. So if we have a particular destination we're headed to, we get information here on that. Scrolling to the right, we can choose a favorite and then quickly access that without going into the touchscreen. The next one is phone. Once you pair your phone, you have information there like caller ID and stuff. The next one is your options. So you can scroll through and get, say, kilometers per hour or different, change your units, that kind of thing. See this one right here, it says display theme. Let's go to the right, and you have standard or you have technology. So now if we choose technology, it changes the whole view here of, it gives like a round dial here, and all those round dials at the top disappeared, and then you just have those two at the top. So the technology theme looks pretty cool. Let's go back to the information, put the digital speedometer there. So yeah, that looks pretty neat. It's less cluttered, I guess, with all those gauges, and it just gives you the essentials. A square push button start, and it's in a concave area. All right, So now we have here's touchscreen. Now this touchscreen is slanted, so things down here you'll see reflections of. So if you put a cup or something down over here, or it's pretty interesting. You have basically a glare from your center console. So you can see my camera in my hand now. So having that slanted down, I guess it was supposed to avoid glare, but I guess it doesn't for the most part, but you do get some, odd glares from interior things in your car. Okay, so you can see these different icons here. We're in the home screen. So there's two different home screens. So you see this one and this one. This one is customizable, has like a split there. But you have audio, so we can go into audio. You can see what the radio looks like. Then you have your presets, favorites there at the top. You can change through the channels. You have a little bit of information on what's playing. You have Bluetooth, different audio sources, AM, FM, satellite radio, and Bluetooth. You can see the little icons here that you can access different things. Your phone, Wi-Fi, hotspot, settings, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. You will have to have your phone connected for that. Then you can go in your apps here. Don't have anything set up right now for that, but it does have some pre-loaded ones. Glimpse, Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio. So these are all the ones that are pre-loaded. That's funny. New York Times, Washington Post, USA Today, Wall Street Journal. That's preloaded for you. Climate here on the screen, you can have that. Let's go ahead and turn it on so you can see it on the screen. You have redundant buttons below. This is how you adjust it here on the screen, and you can make that selection here as well. Let's go ahead and turn it off right this second so it doesn't interfere. Now you notice it shows information as far as your phone connected here, outside temperature, and digital clock. Now the digital clock is really small and kind of blends in. It's hard to really find with my eyes. I wish it was bigger, maybe in top center or something like that, or separate from the screen. It's just not really that useful. It's better than nothing, but that's just the way it is. This is where you change the ambient lighting, and I'll show you that when we get in the night video, basically. So we can change, you can see the background color here, and the door is red, and we can change that, say, to yellow. And it's pretty cool because it changes slowly. It has like a slow change. So when you push it, it's not just like a really fast flash. It changes. Then you have a split between different colors there. It's pretty neat. Looks cool at nighttime. So it's kind of a quick rundown of the touchscreen and what you could do with it. It does have the home physical buttons for your home. Back, you can back out of certain screens. There's your volume knob and change through the tracks or stations. Okay, so down here is climate control. So you see these big vents are also, these big dials on the outside are also knobs for changing your temperature. You can see what your temperature is here and on the screen there. You have your heated and ventilated seats. It's 3-stage, high, medium, low, and off. Same thing with the ventilated seat. This is where you want the air to blow, your fan speed, your front and rear defrosters there. You can sync the driver and passenger if you'd like, and the passenger side is all selected here. Four-way flashers are in the center position. Here's your shifter. Really nice perforated leather feeling stuff here. Has little racing stripes here at the top. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse, and when we do, two things will happen. One is the backup camera with active guidelines will show up here. The other thing is parking sensors will also be active. Now, not only does it give you it also gives you your compass, which is nice when you're turning, but it gives you an audible tone when you get close to something, but also shows you an approximate place in which you need to watch out for, so that way you can keep an eye on it. So that's pretty nice. And the resolution and everything's good on the backup camera. It's good enough. It's not it's kind of bright. The brightness is up, so that way you can see good. So yeah, it's good. It works for what it's intended to do. The screen's big enough, the resolution's good, and it just looks fine. It's just stretched out because it's a wide angle, but that's normal. Okay, there's neutral, there's drive, and then you have a change to the gears manually, basically like a ratchet shifter, by putting it over here, and you can just bump, and you'll know what gear you're in because it'll show up right here. Same thing as with the paddle shifters, does the same thing. It's just you can do it with the shifter. At any time, you just move it to the right, and it goes back in drive. Okay, so if you want to turn off the traction control, like if you want to spin tires or whatever, you just push this button. Default will be on, but you can turn it off there if you want to. It's easily pressed though, so that does give you a indicator here on the screen if you accidentally press it. This is your mode, this is your drive mode. So as we cycle through, we have touring, sport, and snow and ice. Sport will give you a emphasis on performance more than fuel economy. Now, my experience with a lot of vehicles, and this one's the same, putting in a sport is not, even though it's supposed to be performance, it feels like I can just drive better with it in touring in the normal mode. But that's just me. Now you have electronic parking brake. Lift it up to engage it, and engages the rear wheels. And you push the brake and push it down to release it. There's a 12-volt power supply. Cup holders have this illumination here in the center, which is also part of the ambient system, just like your ambient lights there on the side. So this will change colors as well. There's your armrest, and it extends up quite a ways up in here. Not super soft, kind of rubbery soft. And you have a little storage pocket, a little cubby right there. This lifts up, and it drops right back down. So if you let go of it, it's going to slam back down. So you lift it up. It does reach a point where it does stay up though. And this is where you have a compartment here. USB port as well, so you can hook up to the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's really hard to get the camera in position, but in there is 2 USB ports and an auxiliary input. They're really at an awkward angle, so trying to plug them in and trying to see them is kind of hard. So trying to get them on camera is even harder. So we have an auto-dimming rear view mirror, and it's a normal rear view mirror like you'd see in a normal car. Now if you flip this up, it turns into a rear view camera. So the camera I showed you on the fin back there is what you're seeing here. So it gives you a perfect view back here. Now there are some adjustments that you can make. So when we push this button, we can adjust the brightness. We can adjust the zooming in and out. Not sure why you'd want to zoom. More visibility is better in my opinion. Or you can adjust it up and down. Now I put in the lowest position, and that seems like the best. I don't know why you'd want it too high up unless you're looking for trucks or something, or the top of trees, but very bright, and the lowest position seems to be the best for me. So there's some adjustments there, and at any time you want to go back to your normal rear view mirror, you can do that. There's there's times when water and stuff gets on the camera, which obscures your view, so you can switch back to the normal view, which is nice. It does have some tap lights up here, a little bit of an ambient light right here. You can see what that looks like in the night video. And then you have a little mirror with 2 LED lights that kind of fade on, which is neat. Kind of a small visor here. This extends out. There's a little clip on the back side. Now for the visibility. So looking out the side mirrors is fine. I can see quite well with them. And looking in the back, of course we can use that camera system to see behind us, because you can see pretty good. I mean, it's just a small window back there, and you do have some big pillars in the way. But I would say the visibility is adequate, especially with the camera systems. You have the rear view camera and the backup camera and the blind spot monitor system. So you have a lot of technology to help you out with the blind spots. And of course, every vehicle has blind spots, so you get used to them anyway, even if you didn't have the technology. All right, so there you go. Thank you for watching. And this has been the overview video. There's gonna be a night video. There's going to be a test drive video, and then there's going to be some kind of like a summary, my likes and dislikes, a more subjective video on this vehicle. So there's more videos of this vehicle on my channel, so you can check them out. I'll have links for that in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Wow.